Hello to Conscious Living Collective, transformative journey in consciousness with community of like-minded people from all over the world. My name is Tomek. I'm a scientist, teacher, and transformation coach. In this live session, we blend the latest in scientific research, the deep wisdom of mindfulness, and the art of fulfilled living. As always, this is an invitation to have your first-hand direct experience to rewrite your story and to emerge on the other side with a renewed sense of purpose and well-being. Thank you for joining in. Very good to see so many familiar faces. Hello Tosca. Hello Deb. Hello Mackenzie. Hello Anne. Who else I see here? Hello Linda. Let me check the bar with all the floating icons, which is back. Thank you so much, Karen, for your kind donation. I do not know what I do to deserve so early your kind support so early, but thank you nevertheless. Today, a very important session. But before I jump into it, how are you? How is everybody feeling? Do you feel the excitement, which is a part of the vibrational spectrum of consciousness, joining in today? My intention for this session is to enjoy every minute of it and tap into my own potential. The reason why I have been doing coming to Conscious Living Collective, broadcasting the sessions to you, it's because every single time I feel this sense of excitement. That is my creative expression. And I want to drag you with me to feel or to connect with a similar feeling. As my boss from years and years ago, when I was working in Chibo in London in a coffee shop, said, misery is optional. There's so much misery in our lives. I do not deny it. There's a lot of, misery in my own life. I have ability to connect with it at any given moment. It comes very naturally to me. But in this instance, as I sit in front of you, I choose to connect with the sense of excitement and the creative expression of the higher aspect of the self, whatever that is. There is an aspect of unknown and uncertainty that I know for a fact my mind hates. When my mind connects with a sense of uncertainty, what I'm going to say next, what's going to be my next word, what is going to happen, is it going to work out, am I worthy, and I'm going to make it. My mind asks all those questions. And I have that on the menu of my creative expression, but I choose to tune in to connect with you and to enjoy your presence, and your energy will help me to do it. Okay, let me just adjust my dashboard so I can see all your comments. By the way, thank you so much for helping me sort out the sound. Not the problem. I'm just trying new things to help us to have the most fulfilling session, also joyful session. And that comes with the music of Peter Helland that recently gave me permission to use his music in my meditations, which for those of you who are wishing to enjoy my meditations, I have a recent one called Exploring Vibrational Spectrum, which is of consciousness, which is a wonderful introduction to a big theme that I started a couple of weeks ago, exploring consciously vibrational spectrum of consciousness. Exploring consciously vibrational spectrum of consciousness. There's an aspect of consciousness in it, and that conscious aspect is you. Okay? And today, we will explore yet another angle, another sliver of that spectrum. And I decided to call today's session Reclaiming Joy, Vision, and Flow. And this session has been inspired by my recent conversation with my wonderful patrons that I see here. Hello, Anne. Hello, Deb. And your wonderful contribution to our conversation when we consciously have chosen to, again, in spite of any other position of our conscious menu, we have chosen to connect with joy, vision, and flow. I think the most important aspect of your consciousness is your ability to make choices, not only in your head, not in your mind, but also in a sense that in a tangible way allows you to get access to those higher feelings, the joy that will flow out of the vision and as in turn will allow you to experience the flow. Hello, Charmaine. Hello, S. Hello, Alisa. Did I miss anyone? Gwendolyn. Good to see you here. Awesome. Okay. So, as an intention for today's session, for those of you, do we have anyone who joined for the first time? I'll be curious to know. Just raise your hand. So that will help me to either explain how Conscious Living Collective works or skip that part. Macy, Susie, fantastic. We have first timers. So Macy, Susie, for your benefit, Lindy, oh, Angela, actually plenty of first timers. Mackenzie, you are not the first timer, aren't you? Or maybe there was a different Mackenzie who joined here, Barbara. Anyway, for your benefit, I just want to say that Conscious Living Collective has two parts. The first part is our conversation. I will introduce some concepts that later on we will include in guided practice or meditation that you will have a chance to put all these concepts into work and see for yourself how they pan out for you. Because the big part, the most important part of Conscious Living Collective is not just talking about conscious living, but living the conscious living or experiencing the conscious living. So for your benefit. And once again, today's topic is reclaiming joy, vision, and flow. And just to start our intellectual divagation about this topic, I just want to say that this is an invitation to connect with your inner aliveness that is beyond the roles, beyond the usual stress and habitual thinking. And I think this is something that we have been trying to do throughout the sessions of our Conscious Living Collective. But I know for a fact that even though things may seem obvious when you hear it, I personally need a constant reminders about how to live my life. Almost as if I do not remember things, even though they sound obvious. What I remember though is, well, all the misery that is in my life, all the sorrow, all the worries, they seem to be given. But joy, connecting with my vision, being in a flow, well, that's something I have to work for. And we spoke many times about it. This is simply how we wired. And we making a conscious decision to change the wiring in my brain by consciously connecting with those kind of obvious ideas. So what I want to present to you as a hypothesis, again, do not trust my words, I'm just putting it out there, that the joy that we talk about arises from presence. What we'll do today is we try to rediscover the flow that is present not because of external circumstances, but when we are aligned, we align three elements: our mind, heart, and body. Okay? Over the past couple of sessions, we were talking about concepts of heart rate coherence, heart rate breathing, manifestation, vibration. And today, I want to come back to, once again, looking within and seeing what other resources available for you right now. Always in all sessions of Conscious Living Collective, including today, the common denominator I will invite you to is here and now. And another common denominator is to look at your external circumstances and also come back to what's within. And that's why the first part of today's session will be how to reclaim the joy from within, regardless of your external circumstances. So what we will do in a practical session, and also I will ask you a question in a second, we will discover that hypothesis that authentic joy is not something that we have to work for. It's not something that comes as we get more and more successful or we achieve more, but it is a natural quality of awareness when we are fully present. So for me, for instance, I do not have to wait until end of today's session in order to feel the joy and excitement that comes with it. It simply takes a moment to shift my awareness towards it, and it's already there. Okay? Deb asks, so if joy is in the present, is excitement anticipated? It's a very good question, actually. I do not know. If joy is in the present, is excitement anticipated? I do not know. I have to think about it, Deb. Thank you for asking the question. Yeah, Danny, I feel a difference between the energy of joy and excitement. Okay, so you are not only one who asked that question, Deb. Thank you so much. Yeah, I certainly... If I just ask myself this question, not to answer your question, Deb, but simply the difference between the joy and excitement. Excitement has the electric quality to it, as a tingling, which is part of joy, but intuitively is not the same. You see, words fail to express what I really feel, what I really mean, but at least I will try. Yes, joy feels more grounded. That's a great way of putting it. Thank you for lending me your words, Danny. Certainly. Excitement is buzzing. Joy is more grounded. Yes. So coming back to that, let me ask you a question. When was the last time that you felt joy for no reason? It just came to you. I would love you to share your experiences. I will share with you my experience from years and years and years ago that immediately came to mind when I was driving back from a campaign in a city that it was adjacent to where I lived. And out of nowhere, I was simply driving. I was on a highway coming back home for a weekend. And I all of a sudden experience the sense of alignment and joy simply from the fact that I'm alive. There was no particular reason for it. There was certainly the drive was mundane. I did it many, many times. There was nothing exciting about it. And yet I felt a sense of alignment alignment and joy that come from the fact that I am alive. That what comes to me. Yeah, joy feels more grounded to me. Elizabeth, joy feels deeper within me. Okay. Danny, today, the excitement can be in the moment or excitement in anticipation of something, example, a holiday. Yep. Yep. So these are all good answers. And I will ask you again to come back to it in the meditation part. And to answer my question, Jamie, in meditation where you think about nothing, not guided, no intention, but conscious spaciousness. Fantastic. So again, this is in line with what I presented to you, that authentic joy is a natural quality of awareness when we become fully present. And as I remember in this very moment, when I bring the memory of that state, I was certainly in here and now. It was definitely present moment experience. It wasn't stimulated by any past experience or anticipation of the future. It was a quality of here and now. Charmaine, joy equals anticipation of something exciting and the feeling of pure awareness. So again, this is a great start to our conversation, because from the perspective of our mind, we tend to live as if we live in the future. So we justify the way we feel by looking forward to something. I use that at the end of the email. I very often use that phrase. I look forward to something. Look forward to seeing you. And the joy, even though is in the present moment, comes out of the excitement of something that will happen in the future. There's anticipate. The excitement comes from the anticipation. But I invite you today to rewrite, if you want to reclaim the joy, rather than creating potential scenarios in the future, as your mind does. Your mind definitely gets excited by anticipating something pleasant and positive in the future, right? Looking forward to something. I want to invite you to test the theory. How do you feel, as Jamie said, in meditation where you think about nothing, not guided, no intention, but conscious spaciousness? If you ground yourself in a meditative way in the present moment, see if you can find seeds of that joy that on the level of the intellect comes by, as you correctly pointed out, from anticipating some future excitement. Okay, so it's in the future. Danny, yes, I was thinking back to when I felt joy and I was just in the present, not forcing anything or striving for anything, just being and allowing. So that brings me to the second point of, we know for a fact that people that have vision and purpose, and I know that those words are very abused and overused. We talk about having vision, something grandiose, and purpose, something that very often career that's going to last the rest of your life. And you'll be excited every single moment of your day and look forward to getting up in the morning and doing that thing for the rest of your life, and that's going to be suffice. I think that's a delusion, by the way. And if on the level of your mind, you will be looking for such thing, you are setting yourself for disappointment. And opposite to joy and fulfillment, you will feel disappointment and pain from not fulfilling that thing that is always in the future. So again, we coming back to the present moment. Depth joy feels soul deep for me. Excitement feels bubbly like a glass of champagne. Yeah, fantastic. That brings a memory of swimming in, we called champagne pools, which is on many parts of the coast, you have that place when you have a rock pool to which ocean spills over. And on a day of a big swell, when the ocean spills over through the rocks, it brings the foam and it feels like floating in the champagne pool. So I decided to share with you that memory because that's definitely exciting. That's definitely something that I enjoy doing. So I want you to now consider and making with me or creating a mental exercise or mental thought experiment and come back with your memory to times when you were a kid. I let you decide how early. That is before you become cognitively efficient to consider all the necessities of life, like paying the bills, taking care of your health, taking care of all your situations. But where most of the things were taken care of, what were you spontaneously doing as a kid before your intellect fully developed? And perhaps you can share what was the vision of that kid in your mind's eye? What was the purpose before you have to embrace the adult life as we know it? And when you connect with that vision of you as a little kid, see for yourself if that translates in any shape or form into your current circumstances. Is there anything left from the vision of that little kid that was not yet fully bound by the cognitive development, was cognitively undeveloped? Evie, to have fun. Charmaine, imaginatively play, smiling, lots of energy. Just sharing love. So naturally loving us children. Tosca, making mud pies on the picnic table under the apple tree in my backyard with my friend Carolyn. Now we talking. Limitless possibilities. Any examples? Thank you, Tosca. I want use Tosca as an inspiration to bring a specific memory, not just a vague state, but a specific memory that gave you a purpose. Karen, fishing with my grandfather. Amazing. I need more. For me, playing hide and seek with my friends and hiding into under, it was a raspberry bush? No. It was a what bush was it? It was a plant. Elderberry. Okay. Oh, Linda just took my playing hide and seek with they neighborhood kids. Okay. Thanks, Linda. All right. We just said it simultaneously. Charmaine, jumping in the neighbor's pool when they weren't home, making whirlpools with my brothers. Now we're talking. Macy, playing soccer in the backyard with my sister and my dad. As a goalie, he would throw the ball out and we would play against each other to score. He always sat in this white plastic chair. Okay, Evie, sliding down my grandparents' stairs on on their silk eider down. I'm sorry, I do not the word eider down. Haley was quite young and playing with my younger brother, and we're looking at our feet and making music with them. All right, now we're on to something really, really good. Chantel, going on the joyride with my sister's car when I was 12. Susie, I want to read all of them because they all brilliant. And I'll say something about reclaiming joy in a second in the context of what you said. Riding my bike at high speed with my friends through the bush. I'm on this one. I remember just one thing. I couldn't take it. I still remember that. I was riding so fast on the bike and I knew I'm not going to make the turn because I was going too fast and I fell. I still remember that. Gwendolyn, I remember riding my bike with my best friend down the railroad tracks, going through a tree tunnel, the breeze blowing our hair back. Deb playing kick the can until after dark on summer evenings with the neighbors. Phenomenal. I will throw in my memories because you just ignited so many memories that we shared together. I still remember just our neighbors, my best friend from the neighbor's house. We were sitting until it got dark, but because we were close, we were basically at our courtyard, we are allowed to do it. Otherwise, it would be too scary. Evie, it's like an old-fashioned, quilt or bedspread. Okay, thank you for the explanation, Evie. Elizabeth, running around the bushes in my grandmother's yard. Shayla, walking through the meadow and singing to the birds in the meadow. Wonderful. Mary Lou, downhill skiing with my friends. The ski hill was in my backyard. Another memory, my first time, I was 5 years old, plastic skis, and it was this tiny hill, just maybe one or 2 meters elevation. And the first time I got the courage to went down. I still remember that. 5 years old. Evie, wonderful analogy. Bev, swimming underwater with my eyes open in a beautiful small river with huge granite boulders on the shores, and I felt as graceful as a fish. Alisa, catching fireflies with friends in the summer. Isabella, going in my friend's backyard and swimming on a tiger horse swing while her dad pushed us so high we could grab leaves off the tree. You see what we just did here. We reignited and reconnected with something that an umbrella term for is play. It's not thinking about what is going to happen, but being in the moment, using our unhindered by intellect power to play and to create. And I dare say that both in those moments, both were present, joy and excitement. And if I ask you as a kid to define the words joy and excitement, it is very likely you had no idea. It was like, you would definitely know how it feels. But the dictionary definition would be absent because you were not cognitively ready to define all those things. So you see what I'm inviting you to, and I will invite you into meditation today. It's connecting with the inner sense that is outside of your intellect. And this, by the way, is also, and second part of the question I ask you when you bring those memories, is there anything left in your current present life, any aspect of the play that you did as a kid? I personally do not play hide and seek anymore because even though I'm fully capable of it, would feel immature. And I already catch myself, how one of the limiting beliefs that it's in me that playing hide and seek as an adult is immature. Why? If it brings you joy, why? However, I have to admit that I have a lot of other games that I play on a regular basis One of them, for those of you who know me, it's playing beach volleyball with my friends, or swimming, or surfing, or recently playing pickleball. So I still retain and exercise a lot of those aspects that that I had in the past, or singing, or going on adventures. And when I try to think about it to myself, and I want to invite you right now to, once again, now that your cognition is very well developed, all of you, I want you to consider what were the common denominators for your games and being playful. For me, being with friends, being in nature, being, I don't know, freedom. There's no, I didn't have to think once again about paying bills or taking care of the house, right? So now, this is the second part of our session today, the vision. The vision does not always have to be related to something that is cognitively grandiose, our career, something that will bring you wealth, profit, or something that is connected with the future situation, but it's connected with a sense of play. Because if you want to listen to philosophers and teachers, they will consider entire life, when you are lighthearted, in the moments when you can master the courage to be lighthearted, they will consider the entire life as a joyful play. But even as these words come out of my mouth, I chastise myself and say, no, you have to be serious. You have to put this very serious face, because life is a serious matter. Life is to be serious, do important things, and joy, well, joy is just for kids. You are no longer a kid. Is that a positive thing? That now you are older, you have more mature body, and all the things that you were hoping for to do as a kid, now you have freedom to do them, and you don't do it. How interesting is that? So where's the logic in this one? You are working all your life to be able to be free and joyful and playful, and now all of a sudden you have all those things at your disposal, but because of your mind, you don't do it, because they no longer feel mature enough. They don't feel such and such. So as a kid, what I want to point out to you had a very clear vision, and you were most of the time in the sense of flow, when the actions that you have taken were very, from the perspective of mature mind, were very simple. And you assume, you make that, you create that belief in your head that because you are adult now, these things would no longer fulfill you. Now, what does fulfill you? Or maybe buying a new device or a new car, or going on a fancy holiday to a remote destination, right? I'm a big kid now. I can afford it. I want to go and I don't know, snorkel in Bahamas or do all those things. But when you do it, when you actually go there, what you find that even though the destination is much more grandiose that anything that you experience as a kid, because of the mindset, because of the worry mindset that you have right now, you actually, the fun and the joy and the excitement is not half as big as when you were a kid with all those limitations. And again, the lack of freedom, supposedly. Okay. Yeah, Macy, the worry mindset. So what I'm trying to point towards throughout our session, that the spectrum, the part of the spectrum of consciousness that we were exploring as kids, where was not influenced by the mindset that we have now. It was a different part. It was the same part of the spectrum, but not being burdened by the expectations and all the learning that we acquired throughout the decades of being on this planet. And if you want to combine it with teachings of so many teachers and philosophers, they will invite you to unlearn many of the things that you have learned throughout your life. Not to learn more or learn differently, but do the opposite way. And how do I interpret that? Taking the path outside of your mind, outside of your thoughts. What do we do in every single meditation on Insight Timer and on Conscious Living Collective, wherever you go? To let go of the thinking mind, go beyond. And that's where joy already exists. As a kid, you were not thinking constantly, oh, how can I be joyful? How can I be joyful? What can I do? No, it came to you spontaneously because you were not burdened with that. How interesting. Yeah, Isabella, these activities were free. And as adults, I feel like there's not a lot we can do without spending money sometimes. Is there though? Is that really true, Isabella? Ask yourself, if you were to come back to any of the activities that brought you joy at any given moment from the past, just scan your memory. Scan that spectrum of your memories and see if really everything requires money. And you know, in the second sentence, lacking imagination takes away from our freedom. Yeah, it's the assumption that things require more and more rather than the reality of the things. Thereby, I experienced the joy pretending with my grandson, playing silly scavenger games with my dog. It allowed the child in me to live on. And this is another pointer before we jump into meditation. I experienced the joy pretending with the grandson. Pretending is the way of using your imagination to tap into a potential that, again, from the perspective of our mind, is not real. But what is really real? Is the real thing if you can touch it? Or is what makes things real is the experience of it? When you pretend, the situation might not be tangible, but the feeling is. The experience of it is. When you come out of the dream, you experience something amazing in the dream. And you wake up and the first thing, oh, that wasn't real. But the feeling and emotion is. So what we are tapping today into is the presence that allows you to experience all those feelings and emotions in this very moment. And you will find, or you may discover, or I invite you to discover, is that whether the reality of things is another concept that you created and you are limited by. Just because you close your eyes and the room around you doesn't change, it doesn't mean that the internal state cannot change. That's the start. That's the connecting with the pretending is another word of that. It's connecting with your creative imagination. Everything was a dream first. Everything started as a thought. Everything started as a concept. And then through your power of manifestation, you made it realized. This is how the universe works. The physical reality, using words of David Bowman, reality is just a epidermis of the entire experience and the reality as we know it. Using Rob Monroe's words, we are more than our physical body. We are more than this physical matter reality. We go beyond. This is the way to reclaim joy, reconnect with the vision, and tap into the flow that is always there. Not through your mind, but putting your mind aside for this quick moment and connect with the higher aspect of self that is always there, but is very often hidden underneath the layers of worries, concerns that only exist on the level of the conditioned mind. Does it make sense? Okay, so let us jump into meditation and see how we can put these wonderful concepts into action and see for yourself if unreal imaginative process can bring you real first-hand experience. All right? So I will play to you once again Peter Helland and his Sea of Time. We are all in time. I will switch to meditation screen. You don't have to look at me because I am not in the center of your experience. You are the active ingredient. Tony, thank you so much for your kind support and donation. Okay. All right. Just have to check some things. I apologize for the delay. Okay. I hope this is gonna work now. For some reason there's something wrong with my setup. You still can hear me. Just confirm that you can hear me. Yes, okay. Yeah, okay, thank you. Okay. Once again, I apologize for the delay. Okay. We began this meditation on joy, vision, and flow by recognizing our creative potential in this very moment. Allow your eyes to close and sit in a position that is most conducive towards inner exploration. For me, that means resting my feet on the floor, putting my hands in my lap, and sitting in a dignified posture that represents my openness towards inner exploration. Being ready to be surprised what comes through. And the first thing when you close your eyes is your ability to connect with the inner senses. The data no longer comes through your vision or through the perception of your external environment. And naturally, your awareness has a greater bandwidth to explore what's within. And in the first instance, I want to invite you to connect with the sense of spaciousness that is within. The fact that you are unbounded by the visual stimuli. The sound that comes to your perception is that of my voice, the music, and see for yourself if they are supportive of you in this very moment. Now, bring to your mind a memory of the time when you were a kid, feeling free and joyful, playing with your friends, spending time with your parents, feeling joyful and excited about the game. There was no worry about the past, nor anticipation of the future, but simply joy of the game. What happens when you connect with this memory? See if you can add more details to this past event. Where was it? How was the day? The temperature of the air, the colors around you, nature, other people, your friends, your parents. What was the season? Do not try to recreate the sensation, but focus your efforts on recreating the details. And then as you do it, see what happens to your feelings, your experience. What does your awareness do? Does it contract? Or does it expand? Does it lead to the sense of more freedom? I'll let you now to create the scene of the next few minutes and connect with all the feelings, emotions, sensations that come as a result of you bringing to your memory all the details. And as always, I will stand by your side, holding the space, and will bring you back when the time is up. It is time to conclude your exploration. See for yourself, what were you able to connect with See for yourself your ability to connect with the sense of joy, perhaps excitement of the present moment. Recognize the power of your imagination. That is ultimately your creative expression of the higher aspect of the self. And it is always at your disposal at any given moment. Even when external circumstances might be not beneficial. So right now, take with you what you will and look behind everything else. You may return to your exploration at any given moment. That space is always open for you because it is who you are, regardless of your external circumstances. So right now, I will ask you to come back through your physical senses to the physical aspect of the reality. Firstly, recognizing and connecting with your vision and your hearing through the sound of my voice, sound of music. Briefly taste and smell, even though they are not very present in this very moment, in your awareness. And finally, sense of touch that defines your body connecting with the space around you. You may add gentle movements, toes, fingers, and finish up with one deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And when ready, open your eyes and welcome back. Okay, welcome back. Thank you for meditating with me. Well, how did it feel? Did you have fun? The most important question. Did you connect with the sense of joy that we spoke about when you brought to your memory all this games and plays and connecting with your parents, friends, and nature? Hi, Parvani. Good to see you here. Yes, it was an hour earlier today, but the recording will be on my YouTube channel. So worry not. You can revisit it. By the way, for those of you who wish to stay up to date with all live events, the best way to do it is simply go to my profile, follow me there, and turn on the notifications. Unless you have following many other teachers, I do not want to overwhelm you with the number of notifications that you receive to your phone. But this is ultimately the best, the easiest way to staying up to date with all the events. Our next one will also be, by the way, where is it? It also be at 10 a.m. I'm posting it to you right now. So if you wish to stay up to date, please click the attend button right now. I'm changing the times, just adjust to all of you. I know you're connecting from different parts of the US, and that may be helpful. I think 10 a.m. might be a bit better time for, particularly for those of you who are on the West Coast, so it's not too late. Well, thank you so much for today. That was really fun to relive the childhood memories and bring your ability to live more freely, and rekindle that ability to, with your imagination, to be joyful, to connect with the sense of flow that you naturally had as a kid before your intellect start developing and creating all the roadblocks that ultimately cause us a lot of pain and suffering. So let me leave you with Peter Helland and his Sea of Time. And I hope that we can connect on Wednesday, on Tuesday, with next CLC, the frequency of aliveness, tuning into your inner fire. This is the follow-up to today's session. We'll be discovering deeper the fire that is always within, but might be lying under a pile of many different limiting belief systems, worries, and so on and so forth. So I give you a couple of tips how to uncover it and how to connect with it. Thank you so much for a wonderful experience. Thank you for your time and your presence. And I look forward to connecting with you next time.